Hey, hi, how are you? This is unscripted. This might be like the third time that I have re-recorded this intro. So, hi, how are you? My name is, Shark, Fandom Nerd Shark. I don't know, I go by a lot of names. Call me whatever you want, just don't call me a slur or something, because that's not fun. Anyway, I have been a fan of My Little Pony since I was very little, and I have been seeing all of these redesigns since maybe 2017, since I knew the internet was a thing. And I kept thinking wow, that one's really pretty, and that one's really pretty. And I would sometimes think, I would do that so much differently. And I have been thinking that for so long, and I know it just now occurred to me, if I would do it differently, why don't I do it differently? So, here it is, here's my video. I've decided to redesign Pinkie Pie. This video is just going to be Pinkie Pie because the video is like 20 minutes, but I will be redesigning the main 6. So if you watch this video and you like how Pinkie's design turned out, then I can't force you to, but feel free to subscribe so you can see the other ones maybe, perhaps. So to start off a drawing, I will grab a reference pose that is the closest thing that I can find to the pose that's in my head. And this is, I don't know if any other artist really struggles with this, but a blank canvas is really daunting. So if I have a physical thing in front of me that just has the slightest idea of what I'm going for, even if it's just a pose, it really helps to further visualize it, and that really helps it come to life more, because then it's like I already have somewhat of a base sketch and I just have to edit off of that. But I will say, if you are to go through with this method, don't ever just directly trace off of it, because that's just plain stealing art. And in most cases, depending on how generic the pose is or how not generic the pose is, don't completely copy the pose, because then that could also be borderline stealing or tracing that person's art. Not as bad, but still bad. Except AI. You can trace AI all you want. No one cares, because it stole from us first, and this background image is AI, so that's yippee! So to put it into perspective, what I'm imagining here is what if Hasbro came to me and they were like, hey, Nerd Shark, we want you to write the rest of My Little Pony, or something like that. Or maybe they came to me for G6 and they were like, we want you to completely remake My Little Pony Gen 4. Then this is kind of what that would be. So, I don't know how many of you know this, but Pinkie Pie was originally going to be a Pegasus. Lauren Faust originally wanted her to be a Pegasus, and I don't remember the exact reason why they decided not to do this, but we were robbed. We were robbed. Could you imagine how cute she could have been, bouncing around with her fluffy little wings? Oh my god. I instantly thought, she needs to be a Pegasus. She needs to be a Pegasus. Now, not to be a complete nerd, but, I also love in character design, the whole psychology of it. Shape language is one of my favorite things ever with character design. So with shape language, what you want to do is you want to have a specific motif. There are 3 shape languages. There's the circle, and there's the square, and then there's the triangle. And the triangle is very sharp and dangerous, and the square is meant to be stable and responsible, and maybe even trustworthy, while the circle is meant to be fun and lighthearted or naive. And I instantly knew she's going to have a circle motif to her. So every aspect of her is, she's very round. I wanted her fluff to be round, I wanted her eye shape to be round, I wanted her hair to be round, I needed her wings to be round, I wanted her to be round, and I wanted her to be cute and fluffy, and it was, you do not understand how much I need this. I need this, okay? This is my free therapy, is redesigning Pinkie Pie to be cute, fluffy, and round. So, speaking of being a complete and utter nerd, the reason why I have a bluebird in the reference is because I wanted all of the Alicorn and Pegasus characters to have a bird motif to them, which I love. I can't stress enough how much I love the trope in the MLP fandom where people will draw the Pegasus and Alicorn characters with bird traits, with the tail and the feathers. I love that so much. And I was thinking, I really like designing my own characters with a specific animal or something in mind, for just for the sake of either maybe I think it fits or I think it's cute, Or in this case, I wanted to choose something that has a more symbolic meaning to it, and I just thought it would be fun, because I was like, what bird should I choose for Pinkie Pie? And I was thinking, why don't I choose something that has more of a symbolic meaning to it? Because if I were making this, I would make it really deep, even though it's a show for kids and no one's actually going to care that much, but you know, it's okay. So why a bluebird? Well, I was thinking of flamingo at first, but then I looked at flamingos and Google basically said that they were all graceful and pretty, and I was like, that's not Pinkie Pie. So then I looked at some other ones, and I searched what birds symbolize, like, laughter. And the first thing that came up was a bluebird, and it was all over the place. I was like, I don't know about a bluebird, because it's not really her color palette. But then I actually Googled what do bluebirds represent in media, and the AI overview said happiness, hope, and new beginnings, and another website said hope, love, positivity, and renewal. And I was thinking, that is so perfect. That's her. That's perfect. She has to be a blue jay, or not a blue jay. I'm stupid. She has to be a bluebird. Admittedly, I only included like one aspect of the bluebird in her design, which was the tail. So whoopsies. But that is, I mean, it's better than nothing. It's okay. It wasn't that huge of a thing anyways. It was kind of just me having fun. Speaking of having fun, look at me messing up the eyes over and over again. Isn't that wonderful? Yeah, that was a struggle. I desperately wanted them to be like really fancy, but I ended up just going with this instead because I don't know. The simpler look works for her anyway, so I thought it was okay. So, coming up, we're going to get into the coloring aspect. Coming up next on Fandom Nerd Shark. Anyway, and I pull up a bunch of references, like this collage of references of other people's art. I tried to put the artist on the image, and I will also credit them in the top comment, but a couple of them, I just couldn't find the artist. There was one that when I went to go and Google Lens it, literally nothing came up, so fuck you regular Pinterest users for regularly posting uncredited art. I both love and hate Pinterest with a passion. So now that we're getting into the coloring part, I can discuss what I did with her color palette, which is great because I love colors that make me very happy. So what I did with her was I was looking at references on Pinterest because when I make my own characters, I prefer to go onto Pinterest and collect a bunch of references to gather a more nuanced idea of what I want the character to be like and what I want them to look like. So I did that with Pinkie Pie. And one of the things that I absolutely loved was this idea that I got where what if she looked like candy? Like what if her whole color palette was based off of ice cream? Like the kind of ice cream that's like vanilla and chocolate and strawberry? Like what if she looked like that? That would be so fucking cute. So that's what I did with her. And you'll see that later on. Spoilers, I think. One thing that I loved about her character was that she owns and runs a bakery, which I loved so much, and they didn't spend as much time with it. There were mostly filler episodes where we got to see her work with that, which I thought was kind of disappointing. I loved that aspect of her. It was so interesting to me. I thought it was really cute. So I was thinking in my version, it would be a bit more of a thing where she runs the bakery, like all the parties that she throws. Her main like advertising for it isn't just she's Pinkie Pie. She makes every pony laugh. It's like her baking is fantastic. Like she's well known for her baking. So I wanted her design to be very baking. If that makes any sense. I wanted her design to be very candy. I wanted her to look edible. I wanted it to look like you could bite into her and she would taste like God, what are those like cream puff things that you get that are like freeze-dried? Do you guys know what I'm talking about? Where they're like meringues. That's what they're called, meringues. I wanted her to look like she would taste like a meringue or like a gummy or something. So another thing that I can't believe I forgot to bring up is the fact that I actually made her mane and her tail smaller. I love drawing hair. I made her hair and her tail shorter. I made them really small because she's so energetic. And now that she has wings, she's going to be moving even more. So I was thinking it doesn't really make sense that she would still have a really long and really big puffy mane and tail because I feel like that would be really warm. I feel like it would be a lot more airy and a lot easier on her if she had a shorter mane and tail. Like, it would be easier for her to be more energetic and Speaking of that, I also forgot to add with her redesign that she has ADHD. I have a hyperfixation on mental health disorders, and I wanted, because it's a kids show, I felt like it would be fantastic if the main cast were written to have disorders, not for the sake of like having to write them for like a theme or something, but more so just for the sake of representation for kids who might have those disorders, or kids who show signs of it, or even just teens that end up being diagnosed at some point, to look at the show and then be like, oh my god, look, that's me, I have that. Which would be really nice, because I have autism, if you can't tell. And I have always projected onto Twilight Sparkle with the idea that she might be autistic, because, I mean, seriously, have you seen her? Have you seen her? Struggles with social things. She didn't have friends for most of her life. She kept her head in books. She's super organized. How is she not autistic coded? She has to be. I feel like the whole fandom just agrees that Twilight's definitely autistic. So I wanted Pinkie Pie to have ADHD. Maybe other things. I haven't quite thought other things through, but I felt like ADHD was an absolute need. So enough of that psychology side tangent. So what I did with her mane was I wanted it to have like this off-white sort of vanilla hue to it to make it look more edible. I want you to look at this. And then think, oh, they're not making a drawing. They're actually just baking a cake on a 2D screen in the shape of a pony. As for this lighter brown color, I knew that I wanted to do something else with the dark brown for her main color, but I wasn't quite sure what I was going to do to accent it, and as I was designing this, it just kind of popped up, like it just decided for itself that it needed to be a slightly lighter brown that looked like chocolate milk or hot chocolate. I hope it looks like chocolate milk. Does it give that? I hope it gives that. I hope she looks like a piece of candy. But enough about that. After that, I decided, wouldn't it be cute if I accented her with some like blue sprinkles? This was actually originally part of my design idea. Like one of the huge things that I knew that I was going to do is I was going to put sprinkles all over her, because I love it. I love this trope so much. I think it's so cute. And I've been dying to do this with my own character for so long, but I just haven't had the opportunity to do that. I just never had the right case for it, but this was perfect, because I was thinking, what she works in a bakery, right? What if and she's all silly, so I was thinking, what if she just like gets sprinkles stuck all over her all the time, and her mindset about it is like she just doesn't care anymore. She's like, whatever, there are bigger things to worry about than having sprinkles all over me. So I thought, and it looks really cute, I think. I hope it does. Just let me just pat myself on the back and see it and be just like, I made the best redesigns. All other designs are awful or something. Watch as Twitter completely takes it out of context. Speaking of Twitter, shameless plug, I don't have a Twitter because I avoid that like the plague. But I have a Blue Sky account that's under the same username as my YouTube. Follow me. I mean, you don't have to. I mean, because like I said at the start, I can't force you to. I can't force you to follow me. But if you do, I post art there. I have an Instagram too, but I wouldn't follow that because I'm gonna be moving my Instagram to PixelFed. Whenever PixelFed gets around to accepting my my application, really trying to move from all of the social media that is Meta, because not to get political or anything, but I have to chase away the bigots, because don't want those guys on my page. If you're MAGA, shout out to you. Leave me a hate comment so I get more interaction. I had such a hard time with her wings here. I knew that just having the pink was not nearly enough. I was so dense. I did all of these complex things, like with the first two things that you saw me do was like the stripes and then the accent, and then I just went with that. Like, how dense am I that it took me that long to figure out that I could just do that? that amuses me. I love watching back on my drawing process and then just watching how slow I am, and then just patting myself on the head and then going, it's okay. It's just art. It's not the end of the world. You can be stupid in this medium. So, fun fact, I'm actually partial to this color blue. Not for any particular reason. I just love this color blue. I love using I love shading for it, because you got that, look at that nice, more cool blue as the shadow on the eye, and then the nice bright, neon green color for the highlight. God, I love those colors so much. I've always really loved bright colors. I don't think there was ever an age in my art style where I didn't use bright colors, except maybe with Bendy and the Ink Machine. That was a fun phase. Here you can see that I was adding a bunch of highlights. In the final version, I decided to have a version that didn't have all of these extra highlights, because I felt like it was just muddling things up a little bit. I thought that they would look really cute and shiny when I was done, and they do, but they're also a lot. And this is meant to be a reference, if anything, not a fully rendered piece. So it felt like a bit much, but it's okay by itself. So there's a version at the very end that shows both versions. Don't worry. Nerd Shark 2025. There's a version at the end that shows both versions. Why can't I speak? Why don't I know English? What I mean is, there are two at the end. One of them is the one without highlights, and the other one is with highlights. I'm sure that you completely understood that, but some people don't understand dumb. So, this is finally I get around to the back wing and the tail. I love layering all of my pieces like this in Procreate. It just helps to visualize it. I like to put the things that I draw in a 3D space in my brain. I really love having all of these proportions and all of these, what's the word? Composition, that might be it. I really like having a unique and, contrasting composition that really catches your eye. I hate when something is so concealed that you can barely see it. It's okay in this case, because the wing is literally behind her, and it was the best that I could get. I wanted you to still be able to see it, because there were a couple poses that I could have done where you couldn't see it at all, which would have been awful, in my opinion. I don't like when I do that. One of my biggest pet peeves in art is when you draw a wing and then you don't draw the other wing, and your art style isn't so simple that you can just get away with it. That drives me nuts. I don't know why. It's not harmful or anything. It's literally harming no one. It's just a pet peeve of mine. Maybe I'll do a video on my pet peeves of art if this gets 10 views. give me just 10 views and I will do that, please. One of my biggest pet peeves in art is when you draw a wing and then you don't draw the other wing, and your art style isn't so simple that you can just get away with it. That drives me nuts. I don't know why. It's not harmful or anything. It's literally harming no one. It's just a pet peeve of mine. Maybe I'll do a video on my pet peeves of art if this gets 10 views. give me just 10 views and I will do that, please. And if you didn't like the video, rant about it in the comments a lot, because if you rant about it in the comments a whole lot, it will get me more interaction, and then this video will be recommended to more people, so I will perform better. So if you hated this video, tell me how much you hated it. I want your rage in the comments. Give me your rage. Rise, give me your rage. Tell me how much you hate me. Okay, bye.